Hey everyone, it is Tuesday. I am back from my trip. I got home around 9 p.m. last night. Anyway, I thought that I would show you what I read while I was on vacation with my friend because it was like so perfect. So you guys know that I have been trying to read just according to like my moods and just by whim and just like allowing one book to legit lead me to the next one, to the next one, to the next one, as is kind of described in my favorite book so far of the year. I swear, The Blue Tent. So the book I brought with me was Landlines by Raynor Wynn. I decided to bring this one with me because it kind of seemed outdoorsy, and our whole vacation I knew was going to be kind of an outdoor hiking, walking sort of vacation. And so I was like, oh, perfect, right? Okay, so I decide that on the way, I'm just going to take a leisurely way to get to where we're going. And I end up stopping at Waterfalls, which is like, I feel like if I'm in the UP, I need to just like say hello to my friend to Waterfalls. Like, it's just something I need to go to. So I ended up not having time for the upper falls, and I only went to the lower, and I just sat down for a little bit and read. I probably only read a chapter, but I had no idea that this book started out at a waterfall. So I am sitting in front of the lower falls and I am reading, and it is just like absolutely perfect. So throughout the book, while I was on vacation, I kind of like left notes with like what I was doing when I was reading. So as it started, the prologue, I said I started reading in front of the lower falls at Waterfalls State Park, and then I put the date. But yeah, like I said, it says, water falls from the mountain with such force that it creates its own wind, driving noise and vapor upwards until my clothes hang wet from the spray, and I'm defeated by the cascading roar echoing back from the hillside. And then she just goes on to describe more about the waterfall and like all this stuff. So to tell you a little bit about what the book is about, because that ended up being perfect too, I don't think I really paid too much attention to what it was about, other than that it was kind of on a couple that goes on a walk kind of seeking healing, more backpacking I guess than a walk, but anyway. So the author, her husband has something very similar to what my dad has. We think my dad has Parkinson's, but it's not completely confirmed. And in this case, the author also went through a bunch of diagnosi with her husband until they think they settled on CBD, which is very similar to Parkinson's, but they won't officially know he has that until he passes away and they take a sample of his brain and test it. So anyway, she has written other books, apparently one of which I own, The Salt Path, I think is what it's called. But anyway, basically his health is just declining. He has this degenerative disease that is just going to keep changing his mind and his body until the very end. And previously, which is probably in the book that I already own, they went on a walk and she noticed that it just really helped them health-wise, mental health-wise, like everything, right? Also their relationship, like everything was just like improved by this walk or hike. And so she decides to try it again, which is like a little bit of a bad idea because he has something like Parkinson's. Like, walking is not easy. I think it talked about he had neuropathy, which my dad has as well. His feet also have pain. It's just not the best situation to go on a walk like that. However, at the same time, even though it is hard, it's also very healing, and she has seen the benefits from it in the past. And so she decides that they're going to walk along like all of Scotland and into Wales and a whole bunch of other places, and they do it. They walk like over 1,000 miles. Like, they call it walking, but it is more like backpacking. There are places they stay along the way besides just camping out, but yeah, they just go. And so in some regards, this is kind of like a travel essay sort of a thing. It's also obviously like a nature writing book. It's just like so beautiful the way she describes everything that's going on around them in nature and in the environment that they're in the towns that they visit and the people they encounter. But at the same point, she also like digs deeper, because I think when you're in nature, you just feel like how interconnected everything is, how small you are compared to the wider world. And I think she really like digs deep and goes into some of those deep thoughts that you often have so easily when you're in nature. And then I will say a spoiler, so if you don't want to hear any spoilers, go on. This is a true story. The author is the person that is walking. Anyway, so at the end of their hike, the husband goes to the doctor again, and he's gonna have another brain scan. So basically, I don't remember which type of scan it was, if it was PET scan or what, like I don't know. Okay, that wasn't the focus. But basically, like, his brain was not lighting up in the way that it should because he has this condition. And the author was just saying, sorry, my cat is like rubbing her face on the tripod. Anyway, the author was just saying, like, you know, did this walk cure him? Like, no, of course it didn't. Like, she is not one of those people that thinks that being vegan and having a green smoothie every day is going to cure everything that's wrong with the world and with your body. Like, she is not that ignorant and not basing everything on just like wellness sort of things that people pay a lot of money for that, you know, will help, absolutely, but they're not a cure in the same way that a lot of people think they are. And so I was reading that, and I was just really grateful for the fact that she realizes that she did something good for them. But the brain scan, you know, she's interested to see what it'll look like, but she knows it's not gonna be like, oh, look, you're cured, whatever. Okay, so then they actually do the brain scan, and it was incredible. The book basically ends with the brain scan, which is like the perfect place to end. His brain lit up like a Christmas tree after so long of walking like 1,000 miles or more, doing the things that were natural for his body to do, although a slightly extreme case. His brain, while he still had this degenerative disease that was not cured by any means, that's not something you can do, his brain appeared normal. So if you looked at his scan, it would look like anybody else. They just know, compared to his previous scan, you know, he does still have this disease, but it's like, to compare the brains, it's like comparing like two different people, like a healthy person and a unwell person. And it was just really cool to see not just all the small ways that walking benefited them, because she did notice like he was getting sharper and quicker and stuff along the way, but just like how much change it allowed to happen in his brain, and just how it enhanced the neuroplasticity of his brain and stuff like that. So yeah, I started this book, like I said, in front of a waterfall on my way to visit my friend, or not really visit her, sorry, we were kind of meeting in the UP, which is like halfway-ish between us, and I finished right before we went off on a 4.5 or so mile hike, and then had lunch and then headed out and went our separate ways. We both went back home, so it was like perfect to kind of have it bookend the trip almost, with like starting and finishing in just the appropriate amount of time. I had so much fun with my friend. She is like my closest friend by far. We met at a school that neither of us work at anymore. She has since moved to Wisconsin, which is not a place that she grew up or anything, but just like an area that she just deeply connected to and felt at home. And it was always her and her husband's dream to move back there. And then I moved back to Michigan, which was always my dream to leave Illinois, where we were working together at the same school, and move on. So she moved about 1.5 years or so before I moved, but it's just like we have maintained our friendship, and we don't even talk that much. And then when we come together, it's just like nothing has happened, no time has passed. And we also travel super, super well together. So when she travels with her husband, he's the one that does like all the planning and like loves like researching stuff about traveling and where to go, what to do, and planning everything. And then I love that as well. So I kind of take that role when we travel together. And then we both are introverts, and so we just sync really well in regards to like we want to be out and doing stuff and exploring, and we enjoy doing the same sort of things when we travel. But then in the evening, like we might like play a game or something, and then like we'll just like read together. Or one time she just started coloring, and then I just started doing the logic puzzle. Like it's just so much fun. So anyway, the last hike of the trip, we basically parked at the same spot where Lindsay and I parked when we did our backpacking trip. And we weren't going to take the shuttle anywhere or anything because we weren't backpacking. We just wanted to go for a little bit of a stretch and a hike before we were going to be sitting in the car for like, I think 5.5 hours for her, 7 for me. And so we ended up hiking 4.5 miles from that point where we parked our car. And like just throughout the whole trip, I'm just giving her like little tidbits about, you know, my vacation with my mom, which I did not this past summer, the summer before, my vacation with Lindsay and our backpacking trip, which was last summer. And she's like, I really want to go backpacking now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, you totally should. I was like telling her about how this is the perfect place for a beginner and how much fun I had, and how I just feel so comfortable there now. Like it was really terrifying to me, and now it just feels like home. And anyway, so we decided we're gonna backpack together basically next summer. We haven't figured out dates or anything yet, but we're thinking that like she has a husband and 2 girls, like they could come up and they could like just do stuff around in the area, and possibly stay at the Airbnb we stayed at, because I thought it would be absolutely perfect for like their little family. And then my friend and I, Colleen, we would go backpack probably around the same length of time, 3 days, 2 nights. However, we're more chill, so we probably would go like 6 or 7 miles a day and call it good. Anyway, and then afterwards, I could hang out with their family for like a day or so and do other touristy stuff with them. And then I would just carry on with my life. And then I think personally, it would be fun for them to afterwards go to where do I want them to go? Mackinac Island and also Petoskey before they head back. But that's just me, and that's just me planning their adventure. Anyway, so I'm super excited for next summer and for loads of prep, just with backpacking again, and just having my workouts and my fitness be more purposeful, I guess, than just general health. So anyway, yeah, that's what I read last week. I just feel so restored and replenished after this vacation. I'm hoping I will get more reading time in this week other than just one book. But I hope you guys are doing well. Let me know what you're reading. Are you guys participating in Gothtober or anything like that? I'm super curious. Nonfiction November is also coming up, which will be fun. Anyway, I hope you guys are doing well, and I will see you later. Bye!